I've got 11:19 volleyball has it 11. Shh.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
We're good now? All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order and nothing.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Roll call, please.
David Price.
I'm here.
Nick Crutoff.
Here.
Emma Merritt.
Present.
Pete Hefner.
Here.
Kate Trudeau.
Here.
Morgan Saget.
Here.
We got a quorum, so no certificates and awards. Is Mrs. Bowman gonna say anything? No, is she here? No? Okay. Approval of agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
No, hang on a second, we have to say the motion.
Move to approve the November 18th, 2025 February meeting agenda as presented. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Roll call vote.
Kate Trudeau.
Yes.
Pete Hefner.
Yes.
Emma Merritt.
Yes.
Nick Crutoff.
Yes.
Dave Gleason.
Yes. Audience comments regarding agenda items. Any victims? Okay, need a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as stated.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Nick Trudeau.
Yes.
Pete Hefner.
Yes.
Emma Merritt.
Yes.
Nick Crutoff.
Yes.
Dave Gleason.
Yes. Motion passes. So. Student council report.
Yeah, so today we had a pep rally for our wrestling and music students. And our music students, our all-state students, go to Anchorage tomorrow to compete in the All-State Music Festival. And our volleyball team goes to regionals tomorrow as well. We had a spirit week this week to support them as well. And we're planning a student council meeting next week to plan the Deck the Halls themes. I think that's about it. I was talking with Mr. Russin earlier about sort of the aluminum recycling projects that we've been doing in school. So we have 1 can in the elementary school and 2 cans in the high school now to collect aluminum cans and recycle those instead of just going in the landfill. And it's been working really well. We've been collecting a lot. I think there's one right outside the gym that you've probably seen when you're coming in. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Cool. So where do those go when they get full?
We have a baler and then they get shipped out of town to be recycled. So, yeah.
Neat. Good job.
How's the shipping funded?
I'm not sure about that. We're with the Copper River Watershed Project, so they kind of handle all that. But there is the recycling container kind of behind AC. And so we usually just dump the cans there.
Anybody else? Thank you. CEA.
Good evening. I bear a report from both buildings. From the elementary side, I don't know if you've noticed, but on November 7th, the 3rd graders were featured in the Cordova Times front page, learning in the community garden for their outside school experience, real life learning as laid out in the strategic plan. Staff and students are all hitting their stride now as we're in the middle of the first semester. Schedules have been fine-tuned with pull-out and push-in supports for all students. And we continue to collaborate with interventions and pull-out groups to benefit all students. Students at Mount Eccles are getting into the holiday activities and are excited for upcoming music performances. The report from the CHS teachers. There are amazing things happening at CHS. Jason Fastanaw helped secure grant funding to supplement 2 big trips, the music trip to the World Strides Honolulu Heritage Festival and the junior and senior trip to New York and Washington, D.C. for Close Up. Upperclassmen took PSATs and SATs at the end of October. One of our seniors received a letter of commendation for outstanding performance for achievement on the PSAT. National Honor Society inducted 3 new high school members, and several students from junior and senior high grades were recognized for their outstanding displays of Wolverine core values. All right, there's more. What I really wanted to brag about, this is our building rep writing me a note, is the junior high athletes, because they not only rocked the court at Valley Tournament, although they played hard, but because of the support and solidarity they showed throughout the games, and especially at the end. It's no surprise that a deeply rooted part of Cordova's sports culture is that teams cheer for each other during the games. So of course, that was happening. After cheering for one of the boys' games, the cheerleaders asked if they could join the high five line at the end. They did the same at the next girls' games, and the reason I think this is brag-worthy is because after the scrimmage, the boys played against Kodiak, all of our junior high athletes. The boys' basketball team, the girls' basketball team, the cheerleaders lined up to display good sportsmanship as they clapped hands with the opposing team, acknowledging how well it was played. It was student initiated and gained traction. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to ask the other people who give you your.
No question, but I do have a comment. So a friend of mine, Nick Merritt, his son is on that basketball team and he got to go and chaperone those, I think 12 of the boys. So
Nice.
he said he really enjoyed it. And he said pretty much the same thing, that they were really well behaved and fun group.
You have any questions?
Yeah, I had one. I appreciate, thank you so much for bringing celebrations, I guess. Just appreciate you did that at the last meeting. It's always fun to hear little things that are going on. So appreciate that.
Sometimes when I have my glasses on, I can't see out of the side. Sorry about that.
I just wanted to be recognized.
Just hit me. Okay. CEG. That's a new one. Okay.
Hello, I was introduced last month. I'm Neva Nolan with the Cordova Employees Group, which is a new union. And in October, we had 1 new member join our group, and we've had our members volunteer over 45 hours so far this year. So we've kind of we have very few things to report on, but I thought that was a big one because, you know, we're always working with our kids one way or another. And I just wanted to share that we were really working outside of the building as well as inside the buildings. And some of us had a great time at the Halloween carnival that CFRC put on at Mount Eccles. Also, we had 3 members travel to Anchorage for the NEA Alaska Solidarity Summit. And the strands that they went to learn more about was dysregulation versus disrespectful behavior, and de-escalation with dignity and humility, and some SEL as well. So thank you, Dawn and Alex, for supporting these paras and allowing them to use professional leave. It's very, very good. So we've had some good reports from that. Any questions? Comments?
I would just add on Neva's behalf, we have our first negotiations meeting scheduled for January the 10th, Saturday. So the board representatives who are on the committee, as well as the bargaining team that you'll present. So we have that tentatively scheduled to kick off the first of negotiations with the group.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be reported or not, so I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
Oh, how many members do you have? Is it, I can, 12? Good. Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate the report as well.
City council, no city council. So committee reports. Age. 69. I guess, yeah. So first we got AASB liaison. Mr. Hefner.
Yeah, oh, it was, had a fun weekend, with a bunch of school board members up in Anchorage there. Hopefully, the new board members had fun as well. But, that's, oh, and the main thing that was going on there, we ended up having a resolutions at the end. The board of directors met yesterday and they're coming up with legislative priorities, coming from those resolutions. There'll be some policy updates coming out probably in December at some point, and it was just a lot of school board members and kind of that was the big thing there this weekend.
You wanna say anything about your experience there? I read your email.
It was really beneficial. I feel like I learned a lot. So thank you to the board for supporting Emma and I going to that. One of the most interesting takeaways that I found was in our roundtable with students. When students said that they have opinions and ideas and feelings, but board meetings are not often accessible to students. Whether it's because of sports or homework or just time or the format. And so they encourage board members to go to school and see how the school's running and say hi and introduce themselves and be a friendly face.
How about you?
Yeah, it was a great conference. Thank you for allowing me to go. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity. I'm gonna follow Kate's example and I'm gonna type out my notes and get them like succinct and share them. I thought that was a great idea, and I'm glad to have your format, Kate. I'm gonna follow suit. But one of the things there's two things that stood out to me. One of them was the speaker talked a lot about AI and thinking about the future. And it's all really exciting. And as a school board, we may need to consider how we respond. I'm sure teachers are already considering how they're responding, right? I know employers do. So how we respond to AI. And then we had these student sessions, and the students, they were really concerned with engagement in classes. And they said, we need more hands-on learning. And so I thought that was really interesting, because here in the adults in the room, we're like, there's this new thing that I think we absolutely need to be prepared for. But then how do kids learn? They're saying the engagement and hands-on learning. The second thing that was really interesting was a school district that had this kind of like career readiness, and it wasn't trade specific, it was career specific. So that could be in the trades, but that could also be, going on to college to a degree. And each student picks, their field that they're interested in. And then in each of their classes, they have to apply something to that field. So if it's like finance, or if you want to be a CNA, it would be something medical that you would then apply to your history classes. And all the classes are, all the curriculum and the staff kind of like have this whole, there's parts for students to really make it applicable to what they want to do in the future. And the school was saying that they have helped with their chronic absenteeism, because students actually feel more empowered and more interested because they got to choose what they are learning. It wasn't optional, but they had agency over some of the things they were learning. So I thought that was an interesting idea, and it sounds like it is pretty successful. So I'll type everything out and get that to you guys. That was Delta Junction, Fort Greeley. They also had a job readiness component, which was really intriguing as well.
I would fail to mention, we had two well, they're all great students here, but we had two, Max and River came and they even developed sort of a plan and went through action plans and see what they come up with when they come back.
Go ahead. I would like to publicly acknowledge how awesome they were, and it was, like, I was proud that they were from our school district. So.
Cool. We got good kids. Anybody else? We'll move on to site council.
I don't think we had a meeting since, I don't know, I'll let Mr. Tancred speak to it if we did. I went to the last one and it was during parent teacher conferences. And I think we went over Fridays and something else, but I'll let him. There was one parent that came and we changed the time to 5 p.m. And I kind of feel like we had a board meeting since then, so I think I'm kind of all out of sync with the board meetings and the site council meetings now, but I attended it.
Copy that, elementary site council.
We discussed internet safety. Mrs. Gonzalez had a PowerPoint and it was me and one other parent. So we might do that one again because that was highly requested by the parents. So there's probably a need to do it again for those who missed it.
Safety and facility. Yeah, anything there?
I think we've met since our last meeting.
Yeah, I believe so. Seems like, yes, there's been meetings, but,
Next one is in December.
yeah.
Gotcha. Curriculum committee.
We have not met since the last board meeting and we'll be meeting in December.
Okay, and policy committee.
We did meet, we went over the second half of the 9,000s, and those are in the board packet, a couple of edits, as well as the one Alex had developed a policy on gaming, and the BP and the AR as well. That's in the packet here for our approval coming up towards the end of the meeting.
And then negotiations, you guys are gonna have a meeting.
Yeah, January 10th.
January.
CEG.
Anything else on that or good enough? All right. Moving on to administrative reports, Seth.
Whoa. A lot of travel right now, a lot of sports going on, yeah. Any questions?
Let's see, we got volleyball regionals coming up at
Tomorrow, and then we have junior high basketball home games here this weekend versus Yakutat. Friday and Saturday.
Oh, Yakutat's fielded a team this year.
Yeah, they've been able to field a junior high team the last 2 years, so we've been having a back and forth with them the last 2 years, so it's been kind of fun.
Nice.
I asked them if they had a high school team that would want to maybe come to tip off or something, and they said they're not sure yet due to eligibility and interest or whatever, so I think they're still pretty small, and I did get a email today that the boys junior high team ran in some eligibility, so they only have 4 that they're bringing, and they asked if we can throw a couple on their side, so it'll be fun. I mean, I think that the students are building like relationships with them, and so they want them to come and they want to come, and yeah, so it's kind of nice. It's cool to have Yakutat kind of back in the mix, whether they're still on their way of trying to field an actual like high school team or something, but yeah.
Nice.
It's good to see them coming back because they've been haven't had sports in a long time. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Way to roll with the punches with the flyover on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, there's always something every year I think that this might be the second or third year in a row that we've had to do the overhead, so. Yeah, that's already a long trip and it gets a little bit longer and yeah, but. Yeah, it wasn't bad, wasn't too bad. We are excited about the new huddle, the camera that we put into the gym. And we did a kind of a trial run with the alumni games this last week. And we're able to stream those. And then just about an hour ago, I was setting up the Yak Attack games to stream. So we'll be able to, anybody, we're no longer like doing YouTube streaming. It'll all be on fan.huddle.com. And every event that we do, every activity has its own profile somewhat, and that you click on and it'll show the upcoming schedules or games once you get it all entered. But it's gonna make a lot of our lives a little easier.
I think Alex had something you wanted to
Yeah,
say.
could you go give the board an update on some of the challenges that you're having with tip off?
Yeah, for sure, would definitely. So, with, every year we've had tip off since I've been here, we've had a ferry. The last projected date of return, and I don't know if you're in rumblings, that's maybe changing now, but the last projected date of return is, from what I heard, was January 16th, and so our first day of basketball games is January 15th. So we need 3 away teams typically to come, 3 away schools to come. And I've had a total of 5 that have said yes, and then saw that they had to fly, and now I've backed out. So every year I do have like a team that usually backed out, but this year it's been a full slate of trying to find teams that has the money to fly, which it seems like every time I mention the F word, fly, they say, oh, we can't do that. So kind of scrambling, been reaching out to a lot of schools. And I'm getting the same response every time. If you can't pay for it, then we can't come. And so one of my next steps here is to start going down the list of corporations and anyone that maybe, a plea for help for the community of some sorts to be able to get enough money, which I don't necessarily know that number quite yet, that would be suitable to offer to teams to come to Cordova. But, as similar as we are, struggling to go in and out of Cordova, people are struggling to, come to Cordova, as the same way. So we're getting a little bit without this ferry, it just isolates us even more and more. And now, before it's hit junior high basketball and wrestling and volleyball and some other ones in between, but now if it does stretch to mid-January, now it's impacting basketball. And the same goes for a scheduled game. Cordova or Valdez and Cordova was canceled early December time that Valdez was supposed to come here. The second they realized there's no ferry, they're also not coming. So we're in a weird time. And it's hard to convince people if we don't throw money at them. Say, we'll give you food, we'll, do all these things with, yeah.
Do you have a list of, I'm sorry.
Is it feasible to change the dates at all, or does that cut you too close to like state tournaments and?
It doesn't, that could be a consideration. The issue with this as like an entirety is that, if by now, so looking at mid-November, everyone has really already scheduled out their schedules and their tournaments and everything last year, January. And so like last January, I had 4, Anilchik, Seward, CAA coming, and they're coming, they're always coming, they're gonna come. And then like a month and a half ago or so, they're like, we're not coming. So then when you reach out, most of the time they're like, oh, I'm already going somewhere, I'm already scheduled. And so you do run into okay, I do have Birchwood coming and I do have Nome Girls coming, but now if we change that date, now I've just lost them as well because they're also going somewhere. So That is a good point, and if we're gonna run into this very extending their layoff time, then maybe we should push
You might
that for the
swap, like,
future.
cause it'd be cheaper to even have, like one team come on that weekend and then have all five,
Mhm.
teams come. Anyway, no, that's a logistical challenge and
Yeah,
thanks for letting us know.
yeah, so, but Alex did do some bidding for me and I did contact. I'm in contact with the school at the UFIC school district and they're, just today they said, we are very interested, so that means you're in my account.
I was just gonna ask you if you had a list of people you were gonna call, because I know Copper River Seafood is full of former basketball players,
Right.
so.
That's a good point, they're not on my list currently, but then they will be added.
And Trident, I do think that that there was money made this year during tanks.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
those guys might be willing to do something.
that's good to know, well, definitely, there are always some. The canneries are always an odd situation, it's like, was it good enough for them to pay some money out, or are they struggling as well, or, I never really know where they're at, and, but. Yeah, good to know.
Go ahead.
I think maybe to wrap it up is that, what the board can do to help potentially is just to kind of raise awareness that, we are at risk of potentially, perhaps not having, tip off, and I don't wanna, raise the alarm too much, but, it is the reality of today's landscape for lots of schools, so if you all know of people that we might not be thinking of reaching out to, even to provide a little bit of support, that we can turn around and then maybe offer a small stipend or something to help offset some costs so that we've got community games or games for our community to see. Just let people know to reach out and get a whole set.
I have a question on how is tip off generally funded? Cause you have sponsors, right?
Yeah, sponsors, and a lot of times the sponsorships, which we definitely. Use that money and we need it, but a lot of that money from the sponsors, as a huge portion of it, goes to the referees.
Goes to the what?
Referees, yeah, getting the referees in, housing them, paying them, for the 3 days of games. So a lot of that sponsorship we use that, for them,
Okay, thanks.
yeah. Anything else?
You have two teams now, or do you have three, but
I have the pending UPIC team, I have Birchwood Christian, which I am unsure if they know that there won't be a ferry, so even if I was full, I'm still kind of putting my radars out just in case someone were to back out. And then I have Gnome Girls, but South JV Boys, who has came in the past, he reached the coach Rob, who graduated from here. It's a connection with them. He said that they can't afford it if they have to apply. And so I would say I have Birchwood and Gnome Girls currently. Yeah.
Well, thanks for all your work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Principal Gonzalez.
Hello all. Happy almost Thanksgiving. So, lot going on in the last 8 weeks. My December report will probably be very short since there are so many things in this one. Don't think I have anything to add. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? Emma.
Was the M class tutoring, is that a regular thing or have I missed it in other reports? And is that part of the grant?
It's part of the CLSD grant. It's been funded through that. It's new this year. It started October 6th.
Okay, and so they're doing it after school, it looks like, or
No,
is it during school? Okay.
Yeah, they're being pulled out for 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week. And in that mix, they are also administering progress monitoring for the teachers. So it's taking some of that off of the teacher's shoulders, so that they have time during those interventions that are built into the day to either give a second dose of the same reading interventions, math interventions. They're able to
Okay,
give the kids more of what they need.
Gotcha.
So.
teachers can kind of transition to the math interventions if necessary, and then the grant is covering the reading.
I don't know, that would be something that would cover all of the reading. So according to AK Reads Act, when we write individual reading improvement plans, there are so many doses of tier 2 and tier 3 that are supposed to be worked in to the schedule as many times a week as we possibly can. And so according to our MTSS plan, this fulfills one piece of the puzzle. So some kids that need that second and third dose, this is taking a little bit off of the teacher's shoulders so that they can plug that in at another time.
Are you seeing, like, have we done this, and we're not really that far into the school year to see, but what is the feedback from either?
We're 6 weeks into class tutoring, because the first month or so, we're assessing kids and seeing where they're at and determining who needs this extra support.
Yeah.
And then it started October 6th. And 6 weeks in, I guess this is week 7 now. And we usually, I mean, they have done the first progress monitoring so far, and they're supposed to do another one coming up here shortly. And then in January, we'll do another round of screening results to see how many kids still need the support. And we purchased so many seats for the year, so we'll be able to move kids in and out of that support as necessary. And they have the same tutor every time that they get online. They're supposed to. We do have a couple of 6th grade groups that have not. But the theory is that they're supposed to have the same tutor every time. And they adjust groups only after those 3 times a year that they give the screening, so that we know whose needs are what. That makes sense. So there are all kinds of elements to that M-class piece, where letter naming fluency and word reading fluency and all these different pieces, and we have to determine what each kiddo needs, and they group them accordingly so that they're all working on the things that they need. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, but then you said the tutoring is that's the virtual tutoring as well. Okay, so in here is also included the virtual tutoring, and then Ms. Hokinson doing it in person, or
She is pulling the
overseeing.
groups that get online. I was actually talking about the virtual tutoring.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so they're hand in hand. M-class screening is what we utilize to determine who needs M-class tutoring. And the M-class tutors utilize M-class intervention. So there's all these terms that are kind of mixed together. But it is online tutoring 3 days a week for 30 minutes in groups of 4 or less.
And have you had feedback from the kids at all, or from like just how it's?
We got to jump in on a session and watch. So it was pretty interesting to see, how they engage and re-engage. Some of the kids really seem to like it. They know their tutor's name, and others have told me that it's not their favorite, but they're going and they're learning. And I'm jumping in on a few more sessions on Thursday. So yeah, it always depends. But the tutors are fantastic. They're following this beautiful scope and sequence of lessons, and we're hoping that it's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Everybody else? Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't forget me, someone.
Oh, Hank, you got anything, Hank? You still there?
I'm still there. Nope, I don't have anything. Thank you.
You know what? Just jump in if you want to say something, because I forgot about you.
No, it's okay. I will.
ZZ Top. I'm just kidding. You need the dark glasses, and you could really be
Well, the sunny, they would be done. How was everyone this evening?
good.
Not a ton to report this month. Our attendance and our student enrollment has been about static. We are noticing on our Friday tutorials that with having codified interventions that are scheduled, that we are providing more interventions on Fridays this year than we were last year. Last year we were somewhere between 140 and 170. We're now topping 200 interventions. But most of those are from our kids who we've brought in specifically for intervention. We did complete our MAPS testing for the fall benchmark in September, and now have a little more longitudinal data to see where our kids are. And I did attach a data report if you'd like to talk about that at the end of this. You're more than welcome to. We also administered the PSAT and the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test in the month of October. On a similar note, our very own Morgan Saiget was recognized as being an outstanding for having outstanding performance on the test last year. There are about 3.9 million juniors in the United States, or there were last year, and Morgan tested in the top 34,000. So she received a commendation from the College Board and from the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test folks. So we're super proud of that. We also had parent-teacher conferences. We had about 192 conferences held with about 58 families, which was about 44% of our families. I'd like to see a higher level of engagement than that, and have a couple of ideas in the works of how we might be able to either do conferences in maybe a less traditional way that would allow more people to get in, or to entice folks to get in. And there'll be more coming with that in the next couple of months. We also had site council last month on the what was the 23rd of October, and we changed the time. We had been running site council at 7 o'clock, but we put, based on a parent comment, we put out a survey asking the community when they would most likely be able to attend site council. 5 o'clock ended up being that time. We ran 5 o'clock. It didn't change our participation. We had the same amount of people there, different people, but the same amount. In our agenda included school startup, enrollment, attendance, courses kids are taking this year, participation, discipline, and then some of our wins and some of our opportunities for the year. What questions do you have for me?
Buddy, Emma?
Well, I did want to talk about our scores a little bit, if you could kind of like help us out, and I apologize, I thought that maybe that was in a different report, so I missed it with Dawn, but maybe that can be something we look at another time at another board meeting, elementary scores as well. So like, what are you seeing when you
Seeing a general increase in scores with some areas that with some specific areas where I'm not surprised, because we know where our opportunities lie. Generally in ELA, our students are moving progression from 7th grade through to 9th grade, and are moving up. We're moving kids out of the does not meet categories and into the proficient or exceeds categories. In math, we have noticed that some of the groups are not making the growth we want, but we've already got plans in place for that. We've made the choice of changing our class loads up this year and splitting up our algebra classes so that we got more time on task for that. We also noticed that our 9th graders in ELA had not made the same growth that other cohorts had. And we've implemented interventions in the classroom, not just on Fridays for them. And we're using vocabulary and HD word, and using a sort of a hybrid class structure where we split kids up, and we've got a section where kids are working at grade level, and then there's a section where kids are working at their instructional level. We also saw in our SAT scores, we saw a general increase over from 2022 until now. We've seen a 59% increase in, not 59%, 59-point increase in reading, a 60-point increase in math, and a total of 119-point increase in the composite score. We're still just a hair below the state as a whole, but we're growing faster than the state, so we would expect in the next couple of years we would surpass that. The other thing to look at is we have also our MAP scores, and MAP's kind of funny. MAP, NWEAA is the folks who do MAP scores, but they also do AK Star. And the tests are supposed to line up, but they don't always quite line up. This year we noticed that if you go in and look at the maps, bands on here. One thing that maps is doing, which makes it difficult for longitudinal data, is that they're storing all the raw data from every school year, but they're not storing the metrics for that particular school year. So when you run the data from a previous year, it's running it against this year's metric, not against the previous year's metric. Which, so you'll notice here, if you go to say like the eighth grade achievement, you'll see that their fall score in 2024 is on the 2024 band is different than the fall score on the 24 to 25 band. And that's because it's using this year's metric. The only reason we have the last year's metric is because I kept hard copies. So you'll notice that I think that this year their metrics might actually have loosened a little bit, and they're not quite as stringent as they were. For example, if you look at our grade here. If you look at our eighth graders, in math, you know, they started out in the 47th percentile according to maps for 24-25. But if I run that same data report now, it puts them in the 56th percentile. I think for me, what's most important is looking at those reports and looking at where were they in fall of 2024 and where are they now? Because that's that's 1 year, right? And most of our grades have made growth. You know, you look at our ninth graders in reading, and they went from the 58th to the 63rd percentile. You look at our ninth grade math, and we've gone from the 58th percentile to the 63rd percentile for achievement. So I think in general, we're on the right track, and we know our holes. We know that we do need to develop a way to intervene for math, and we know that we need to keep intervening in ELA as they get to high school. I'm still not sure that we have a great way to intervene past ninth grade, but nobody does. I mean, once you get into high school, it's a credit game. No longer, it's no longer just about lateral or upwards movement. It's about gaining credits for graduation. Any other questions?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Food service, which is in the packet. How about Mr. Fastino?
Good evening. Can't think of anything exciting that's happened since I wrote the report, so I don't have anything to add, but would be happy to take any questions.
Anyone? Hank?
No.
No questions.
Thank you.
Right, Chris?
A little bit, like you guys, I guess the last two meetings and surgery on the foot, and then I was out of town, so back. Don't have anything to add to what was in the report. Is there any questions to try and answer?
Just want to say thanks for that, Kate.
Yeah. All right.
Linville.
Hi. I apologize. I came straight from practice and I actually practiced. I think the big one that I just in my report was the audit is still pending. They're waiting for the federal compliance support supplement from the government. And when they have that, they will finalize the draft and we can share it. In the meantime, Deed did, they accepted the final drafts that the auditors have put out. And so they're gonna use those with as long as when the document is released and everything's the same, they'll move forward with that, and they're not gonna let it hold up any disbursements in December. So that's the big point. And they have it, they have our draft, and they said, I think you got an email today that we have whenever things start rolling 10 days to finalize everything. So.
Question, is that closer that they're waiting on? Does that affect other school districts too?
Yes, yeah, it's,
Everyone.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh, how's the reserve budget? You know, I keep trying to figure out how we could, is it, you know, so we don't, you know, come to the end of the year and have extra. I mean, I just sort of noticed, I think the little tiny board budget, you know, had thought we would spend more, but I know there'll be a significant amount left there. And I know I don't know how a person really tracks that. I've never really got a good answer on that aspect of things.
I mean, how I'm tracking it, like right currently is through this process.
Okay.
And so it's just monthly kind of reviewing.
What's been spent,
Yeah.
what we said we would, or what was said
Yeah.
was spent, okay. Excellent, thank you. And how's volleyball treating you?
It's good. A lot of travel, but it's fine. No, we're gonna go win regionals.
Excellent.
That's the plan.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to Mr. Russin.
Thank you. Following suit with the folks before me, my reports in the packet. Do you have any questions or anything you'd like me to elaborate on?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Looking at bullet point 1, the Shepherd Point project. And a source of potential revenue do we know if this revenue is gonna be equal to or greater or less than last year's revenue? How does it compare to the last 2 years?
Well, it probably won't be anywhere near the first year. And it will be likely equal to or a little bit greater than the revenue last year. I have a meeting scheduled this Friday to start that discussion with a little bit more detail. But there are some maintenance things around the building that we've kind of deferred or are scheduled to happen. Some things in the gym and elsewhere that administratively we're talking about potentially using some of those resources if we can to address some of those. They're not like major critical operational sorts of things, but you know, like the gym floor was due to be redone a couple of years ago. And you know, just maintenance and upkeep on it that way. It's probably time to refinish that entirely. Yeah, so you know, the cost of that will be significant, but we'll see kind of what we can parlay with some revenue generating efforts.
Cool. Hank, you got anything? Any questions?
Nope, no questions.
Go ahead.
Can you just give us a little bit of background about the gaming permit? I know
Sure.
that'll be an action item later, but you also have it in your report.
Yeah, so the administration has been talking probably for a better part of 6 or 7 years about applying for a gaming permit. You know, my observation over time in being here has been that the district has often borrowed other gaming permits from those who hold them in town to be able to run raffles and split the pots and a variety of things. I'm thinking whether I should say this publicly or not, but you know, I don't know that since we didn't control the process entirely, I don't know if all the components of what's required have been met over that time. And so administration started, you know, we revisited that idea probably in the spring of last year about applying for a permit so that we we had control over that and control the process and all the paperwork that's associated with it and so forth. I think it was in maybe the early spring, January or February last year, we actually created an account, a gaming permit account, or we identified that as a sub account in our district banking account. And so there's no money that currently resides in that, but part of the process of the application is that you have to have a dedicated account for gaming revenue. So that was one piece that we got in place last year. Mr. Tancredi has taken on the lion's share of the work in reviewing the application process and doing the tests and the training and different things like that. One additional component is that we have to have a dissolution process or procedure in place should the district cease and desist gaming operations. We have to have a board documented plan of what to do and how to disperse of any revenues that are in that. So the policy committee talked about creating a full policy and AR in addition to just having the dissolution reference. So that's what you'll see in front of you a little bit later in the agenda to approve the first read of that policy and AR. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, so currently though, you're using other entities and there's no issues at all, like, but this would just allow us to put that in-house and maybe a little bit more administrative work.
Right. Right. Yeah. Some, some of the entities in town, one of the entities in town at least, where the district had historically been using their permit, they decided not to lend that out any further. And I don't know the reasons behind that, but there are limited places in town that do have permits. So we just thought that having one, it's a good place to start with moving forward and generating revenue for Chestnut Cross and for teams. Part of the requirements, I guess, or prohibitions around gaming is that you can't use playing cards or dice as part of your equipment with gaming. And so, being very, very mindful of that and knowing administratively what we can and can't do is really important to just, keep everything above board and everybody out of potential trouble should anybody come knocking.
No bingo. That's what I read it. No bingo under the ages. I was just, I guess I hadn't really, I recall going to like having split the pots and everything at events, but then I wasn't sure if anyone had any issues with like the school owning a gaming permit. I don't know, then when you kind of put it in perspective and context that it is gaming, but I don't know. I just was thinking about it a little bit more and, yeah, wanted to see if there was any background there, so.
Go ahead, Pete.
It is interesting. Another organization I sit on got a gaming permit, and I was wondering, but ASA has a gaming permit and they sell pull tabs and they make a great revenue up in Anchorage. So other education institutions use it.
Thanks.
So everybody's good with that? Hank, you don't have any questions about the gaming permit?
No questions.
Okay, so we'll move to financials. Pete kind of asked you a few questions about that already.
You said he had a few.
Right. Hang on a second. Let me see what I didn't have anything red circled on. Yeah, no. So no, I'm pretty good on questions on the financials though.
Anybody else? Emma?
No.
All right, don't have any. Hank, you got anything on the financials?
Nope.
You're pretty easy to talk to tonight.
Yeah, well, it's past my bedtime.
Oh, we better get rolling then.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock here.
So we have Work session notes, new business. What's that? I got it here. State of Alaska School District Model Admin Records Retention and Disposition Schedule Discussion. Page 179. I'm trying on it right here.
So at the last meeting, there was some discussion around, once we start streaming and having archives of streamed meetings, what the retention, either policies or recommendations or schedules is a better word, were. So we've just provided this information from the State of Alaska Admin Records Retention Schedule to give you some information about what that schedule is. And so there's no action item here, it's just for discussion.
Yep,
Yeah, if I could,
go ahead.
I think I asked that we talk about this, and I know we talked a lot about like the liability of having, verbatim minutes. I think we're making really great progress with our minutes and with streaming the meetings. When we mentioned we might be taking the meetings offline after we approve the minutes. It is my opinion that I think that's unfortunate, just because our goal here is communication, and so we've now allowed that communication to happen online. And I think more time than a month is, I think that we should give the public a little bit more time. I'm personally not concerned about liability with this group. I think that we're all like, I don't see any one of us as being particularly liable, or going off the rails where I'm concerned about verbatim. And we have years and years of verbatim board minutes that I'm more concerned about than a streaming the meeting. So I think for me, this is about communication and being able to communicate with our community. And so I was pleased to see this research, and I don't know if we did an action. We obviously don't have an action here, but that was my perspective. Appreciating. I didn't have time to go look at some of the resources because we're traveling and then still traveling this weekend. But yeah, that's my opinion on this one.
Okay. Go
Just to add to that, I think if you wanted to, further the discussion and just either come to a consensus on a reasonable time in which to have the recordings posted, like that's one option for you to consider now. Another option is, maybe it's tied to the first one, but identify a period of time to do that and come to consensus among the board. Or you continue the discussion and, ask for it to be put on as an action item if you want to take a formal action on a recommended time in which to keep those posted. You certainly could do that as well, so.
Well, it looks to me like the approval of minutes or proceedings under recording or voice conversations, which includes audio, video, is 4 months. That's enough time, right? For people to
Yeah,
do.
I think that sounds
So-
fine. I'm not, I would be okay with even a little bit longer, but they have 4 months, and I don't know what anyone else is. I could be swayed by my fellow board members.
Well, yeah, I'd say if they haven't looked it up in 4 months, then they probably weren't that interested anyways. So I think that's it, or I mean, if we were. I'm okay with what I see here.
What was the recommendation coming from the school board association that we heard last time?
I didn't hear that conversation or that recommendation, but it probably would be similarly in line maybe with the records retention schedule. But I don't recall that.
Oh, I thought didn't we discuss that at the last meeting?
No, I think we kicked around some ideas of our own.
Sure, yeah. Cause I thought I heard something different. Was I in a different meeting or was I?
I think we were kicking around the idea of 1 month.
I
Or
think,
something like
Where
that.
was I last month? I mean, look at the board minutes.
It was kind of, the conversation was kind of circling around like when the official record is approved, which is when we approve the minutes. So then we kind of linked that with destroy everything, which it doesn't need to be that.
Which comes from old Jurassic Parliament, that's right.
But we're proposing here 4 months.
4 months, yeah,
Sounds good with me.
yeah. And we're just discussing this, there's no decision being made here, right? But
Well, one thing I did think of is that I haven't sat on this board when there's been presentations, but I have heard some board members reference, oh, we had a presentation about that. And I thought there might, maybe in the future, there might be presentations that we might want to have. And that might not even be a board thing, right? That could be an administrative thing. So that's just something that might be separate from the meeting. But that now we actually have an opportunity now with the online options to share even more information in this format. So just a comment.
so anything from anybody else? No? Let's move on to superintendent search update discussion. Since Alex is done
Yeah.
writing.
Just watch it later, Alex. They're 4 months.
So I think I recently shared some information, the update from the School Board Association. So the survey is active and submissions are coming in for that. The district doesn't have access to the number of submissions nor which stakeholder groups are responding, so that information will be made available to the board when it has its special meeting to look at candidate applicants and so forth. And you know, being in the annual meeting this past weekend with the school board, there were a variety of people that were asking me about the timeline for the application and when it closed, and kind of, you know, looking out a little bit further as to what that process will be. And I shared with them everything that's been made public already in terms of the timeline that's out there and so forth. So I think there's definitely good inquiry around the vacancy, and I'm sure that the board will have good candidates to take a look at. So I'm excited for that process.
I think you said something about the survey too. They are putting it out.
Yep,
And then
yeah, the survey is out.
recovering the data and.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. Anybody got any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
You said that the survey data will be available to us when we have the special meeting. Will it be available before, while we're reviewing applications, so we can like process it before we go into discussion?
Yeah, so the survey closes on November the 30th. And then AASB has said that, you know, it can be made available shortly after that. So I would guess within a couple of days or a day at least, for them to organize the information. It's in a Google form, which is really convenient. So typically the submissions are kind of automatically formatted into a spreadsheet with the columns and all of that information already sorted. So I think it'll be a really quick turnaround for AASB then to share that with the board. Thanks.
So. Any other questions?
I'll ask a question.
Oh, go ahead, Hank.
I actually have a question. Alex, you talked at one time about finding it difficult to find the actual posting and some of the sites. Has that been cleared up?
It has, yes. I've done a couple of searches and double checked where those postings are. And so, yes, those that information has been verified in terms of where the posting should be.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And then the search closes on 18th of December, right? 19th, okay.
Friday.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Is it okay if we share the link, Facebook, right? I feel like we're a little bit cautious about our board communications, which is okay, but I plan on sharing that link on my Facebook page. And
You mean for the survey?
yeah, for the survey.
I don't
And-
think
and
that's
for
a-
the application too.
Yeah, I think-
I hear you can. Um. wanna
Just
make-
don't tell them how to answer it.
Definitely not.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Anybody else? All right, so we're moving on to action items. And I have RC with a little line coming down. What does that mean?
After discussion.
Oh, roll call. Gotcha.
I want me to move?
Yes, out-of-state travel approval for music trip.
I move to approve the out-of-state travel approval for the music trip Honolulu, Hawaii, March 17th through 23rd, as presented in the board packet.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, page 182. It's the.
How do I get to go on this trip? This looks great. Lucky kids.
No other discussion? All right.
Thank you for all the adults who are organizing this awesome opportunity.
Yeah, happy to support a music trip.
Oh, big time, yeah. So roll call vote?
Kate Trudeau,
Yep.
Pete Heffernan,
Yes.
Emma Merritt,
Yes.
Hank Crudup,
Yes.
Dave Gleason.
Yes. Motion passes. Out-of-state travel approval for close-up.
Move to approve the out-of-state travel approval for close-up New York, and Washington DC, March 24th through April 4th, as presented in the board packet.
It's been
I'll second.
moved and seconded. Discussion.
So are some of these kids like coming home for one day and then leaving the next day? Or are they gonna pass their classes? Or how does that normally work for the kids?
That'll be on the tail end of, or it'll be the start of the second or the fourth quarter, right? So like we come back from spring break and that's the start of the fourth quarter, so it's about a week into the start of the quarter. So there'll be plenty of teachers on those trips, so I would guess they'll have some time to do some studying.
And these trips also have eligibility requirements, right? Like our extracurricular, or because it is an extracurricular trip, is that correct?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Okay.
Can we amend the motion to add somebody to that list?
Is there a?
I would like to amend the main motion
Oh, right here.
and add Deborah Adams to the list of participants.
I'll second.
I think the seconder, were you the seconder of the main motion?
It's the same.
So that's been moved and seconded, so we need to have a discussion about that.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams, for going on this trip.
Right. And I appreciate that she's donating this.
From the pie sale.
I think she's been on this trip many, many times, and that's her neck of the woods, so.
I went
She
on
really
this
enjoys it.
trip with Mrs. Adams and I've never slept so hard in my life.
So, any other discussion? We have to vote on that, right? Amendment first, so let's vote on the amendment.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Pete Heffernan,
Yes.
Emma Merritt,
Yeah.
Crudup,
Yes.
Dave Gleason.
Yes. Now back to the main motion.
Yeah.
So
So further discussion?
further discussion.
Yeah. I have further.
Oh, you do, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So Mr. Tancred and I, along with the two advisors for Close Up, as well as Mrs. Fastenal of the music trip, we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago about preparing for travel, particularly out of the state. And given some of the political nature of things happening in parts of the world, we talked about ICE and ICE encounters potentially. So we do have a plan in place And we're planning on talking with parents, probably before the end of this semester. There have been a couple of parents that have asked, just about, safety and concerns for safety, while traveling. And so, we do have a mitigation plan, or at least a plan to respond or react, if we should have any ice encounters. And, Mrs. Moody, who's one of the advisors for the close-up trip, actually reached out to the National Close-Up Group, asking if they had any plans in place. And the initial response was they weren't exactly sure what she was talking about, which I found odd. But they have since prepared a ice safety procedure / protocol document that they will have implemented as students are traveling to Washington, DC to engage in that program. So I just wanted to say that and share that with you. I mean, we have an ICE protocol in place here in Cordova. Should ICE agents happen to show up on our campus. So and that was prepared last year, in fact, and updated at the start of this year. So,
You actually think that's a serious thing that's gonna happen?
yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's happening.
The fact that parents are concerned about it, that hurts my heart a little bit.
Did that come up as a parent concern?
It came up in some of our discussions. I mean, the reality of, you don't have to look far from the news to see the randomness by which some of these encounters are happening, and it's indiscriminate in terms of age and reality and what you look like. So we just want to be prepared. We would rather be prepared in advance to know how to respond should something happen. Do I think it will happen? I hope not, but given the nature of the environment, I would rather be prepared and have our adults and students be prepared should that event happen, should an encounter happen.
all right. So what's the, what do you want us to do as a board?
Well, I'd like you to approve the travel request. I mean, that was just information as part of the trip and travel. Some of the things that we're doing in advance to prepare both students and staff for traveling.
Okay,
So
everybody still wants to go though? Okay,
at this point, in fact,
yeah, I still hope they go. I certainly hope they don't have ice trouble. So we're voting on that motion. Roll call vote, please.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Pete Hassan,
yes.
Yeah.
Nick Curto,
Yes,
and Dave Glisten.
Yes. BB 9012, communications to and from the board, revision recommendations, first read.
I'll move to approve BB 9012, communications to and from the board, it's revision recommendations, first read.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
This was discussed by the policy committee at its October meeting, Pete, I think, and we just noticed from the model policy, ours was lacking a little bit, particularly the use of social media. And so it just made sense, and the committee felt unanimous in recommending these italicized blue text be added to the policy.
I like this policy. I wanted to just offer a comment of something that I was talking from one of the sessions this weekend. They recommended a confidentiality footnote on our emails, and I'll give Mr. Russin the language. But it was basically saying correspondence between public officials are generally not confidential and can be shared upon public information request. And so, I will try to add that to my email, signature line, and then, maybe on our website where we have our emails so that people know that. I know that someone has emailed me before and didn't realize that it was public communication, so.
You mean a citizen?
A citizen has emailed, yes, like me as a school board member with a concern and didn't know that it was gonna go in the board packet, so.
Oh.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
You shared that.
Yeah, I'll share it.
So let's do a roll call vote on this.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Guy Hubbard,
Yes.
Emma Merrick.
Yes.
Nick Trudeau,
Yes,
Nick Wesley.
Yes. BB 9110 board membership, excuse me, revision recommendations, first read.
I move to approve. BB 9110 board membership revision recommendation.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Not too much material. Revision, just some language revision that helps the readability of the policy, we thought.
Any other?
I'm just curious, so if the board wanted to say we want a 7-member board, you could change it in this policy. Would it have to be changed other places, I'm guessing?
It would have to come through the city
Mhm.
process, so it's.
So it would come from a different direction and.
From it, yeah, there would have to be sort of above board policy. Statutory
Gotcha.
changes for Cordova.
And I think the meetings would be about 2 hours longer.
Right,
So different,
statutory,
different boards of different number.
different region, the regional boards, the big boards, some will have 11, some will have 7, some
Yeah.
will have REA, division of election.
Call the question.
If you call a question, I need to vote on it. So there, if you want to call the question, there's a motion that needs to be made.
Is there any other discussion? All right, let's roll call vote.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Guy Hubbard,
Yes.
Emma Merrick.
Yes.
Nick Trudeau,
yes,
Nick Wesley.
Yes. AR 9130.2 policy committee revision recommendations, first reading.
I move to approve AR 9130.2 policy committee revision recommendation first read.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
The revisions are, that language was established when we initially formed the committee. And so we thought that it was appropriate to kind of give some of that historical context as to how we go about looking at policies. Sometimes, you get on a committee and you're not exactly sure what the charge is or what the context of what you're doing. So just capturing it here. Committee members thought it was relevant and a good idea.
Anybody? Pete?
Yeah, up above where you've got 1 through 10, just after the first paragraph, should we add that, a number 11?
Yep.
Section 10,000.
Yes.
And then down at the very bottom, the committee members of the board are subject to the, is it the Alaska Open Meetings Act?
Mhm. To the State Open Meetings Act.
Or I was wondering, I was starting to look it up, but I didn't, I wrote a note on it, but is it called the Alaska, in different states have open meeting acts.
Mhm.
Ours is specific that the Alaskan Open Meetings Act.
Question.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I feel like this is gonna be really obvious, but I was What do you mean when ensuring that options found in existing model policies are chosen? Option 1 or 2? I was confused what you mean by options.
So when we look at the model policies, AASB sometimes provides option 1, you do this,
Oh,
or
okay.
option 2, you do this.
I see.
And sometimes as we're reviewing, we see that language where we haven't chosen one.
Gotcha. Okay, so I haven't seen the model policies, which is why options 1 and 2 are making no sense to me. Okay, got it.
Thanks.
It's like the cell phone, looking at 2 options, which one we want.
Gotcha. I think this looks good, and I like having a little criteria there to put us all on the same page that this is the policy committee is doing that. I mean, I was kind of already assuming that we were doing AASB, look fors, so that's great.
Actually, Alec developed these and I've been pushing these around as well as, it's great to have this embedded. Not every AR is written the same way.
Yeah.
As professionally as Cordova's are.
Mhm.
So,
All right, let's have a roll call vote.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Pete Hefner,
yes.
Yes.
Hank Trudeau,
Yes.
Dave Lister.
Yes. BB 9200, board members revision recommendation, first read.
Move to approve BB 9200 board members revision. Board members revision recommendation, first read.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, discussion.
These were elements that were found in the model policy as well, that we thought fit nicely to complete that particular section.
Any questions? Well, let's roll call vote.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Pete Hefner,
Yes.
Emma Merritt,
Yeah.
Hank Trudeau,
Yes.
Dave Lister.
Yes. All right. BP 3455 charitable gaming activities, newly proposed board policy, first read.
I move to. Sorry, what was it?
B-
Approve BP 3455 charitable gaming activities newly proposed BP first read.
I'll second.
Then moved and seconded, discussion.
Yes.
Go ahead.
First sentence, the school board authorizes the superintendent of designee. Is it like, is designee supposed to say Cordova School District, or is it superintendent or designee?
Or.
Yeah.
Or designee, okay.
It means or.
Good.
So we don't have to do anything to change that, right? You'll do that, yeah, okay.
This, and it's the first read, so.
Any other, go ahead, Pete.
Have you had a chance to run this one past? GDO?
I've submitted it to our attorney for a review, just to make sure I have all the statute references intact. So by the time we have our next meeting, I'll have heard back from them, and if there are any suggested revisions, then I'll put those in for the second read.
When is our next meeting, by the way? In December, I know.
December 10th.
On the 10th, okay,
Did you, okay.
go ahead.
Did you mention that it's pretty common for school districts to have a gaming permit in Alaska?
It's not unusual. I don't know that it's common so much that like everybody has one, but I know of a handful of districts that have them.
And thanks for developing this.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Kate Trudeau,
Yes.
Pete Hefner,
Yes.
Emma Merritt,
Yes.
Hank Trudeau,
Yes.
Dave Lister.
Yes. The AR 3455 charitable gaming activities, newly proposed AR, first read.
So, I move to approve AR 3455 charitable gaming activities, newly proposed AR, first read.
I second.
Then moved and seconded, discussion.
One of the main things with this it's the district wouldn't be running, it's one of the groups, the student groups are, yeah, but they would, yeah.
Yeah, so the district will hold the permit, right? And then, the student organizations are subunits of the district. But the district would be responsible for ensuring that all of the legal requirements were in place. So like we wouldn't just say, for example, if volleyball wanted to come and we'd say, oh yeah, here's the permit, go do your thing. Like we would have to ensure that they understood that if they were doing a 50-50 or split the pot, that the permit number would need to be visible, right? There's a whole process for how to split the proceeds and handing the said winner of the 50-50 a document explaining what their obligations are in terms of either recording that.
And having to be, do you have to be 19 then to be, enter into these raffles and stuff,
18.
like 18? And like for the 50-50, the pot, split the pot and stuff like that, we'll kind of need to monitor stuff like that,
Right.
I suppose now.
Right, so you couldn't have fifth graders handing over $20 bills to join the split the pot. Right, so it's the district's responsibility to ensure that the subunit of the district, i.e. a team or club, and their advisor understood that.
Right, yes. Okay.
One more question. And you intend to keep this within student activities, right? Like if another community organization wanted to do a split the pot, you would probably not.
Probably not.
Okay.
Unless it would potentially gain us some revenue, but likely not. We're not gonna advertise that we have a permit and anybody who's interested that doesn't have one, like, we're not gonna do that.
Gotcha. Booster club or.
I would say, so the booster club would be, we've talked a little bit about this, so the booster club is the only sort of organization in town that is formally a school-related organization. And we have a policy in the 3000s on school-related organizations that there is a process to go through to sort of be deemed a school-related organization. So they had to demonstrate that they had a bank account, the boosters, they had a bank account, they had a organizational structure, i.e. a president, a vice president, a clerk, and then their mission and vision were in line with what the districts were. So they would be a likely group. They're not a school group as such, but they're a school-related group.
This isn't our first go around with the permit. I mean, we used to have a fall festival and it was like in October and the whole school would be set up. And then Bob Lenz had gambling in his classroom with actual money. You could go gamble. I'm sure we had to have a permit for that.
I'll refrain from responding.
Anyway, just a comment.
A lot of questions on this and I'm a little uneasy.
Any other comments? No. So we'll just do.
Yeah.
After,
Yes.
Emma Merritt.
Yes.
And Crichton.
Yep.
Dave Glaze.
Yes. New policy adoption chapter 10,000 charter schools. Second read.
I move to approve new policy adoption, chapter 10,000 charter schools, second read.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Typically on a second read for policies, we would just nest them in the consent agenda, but because this was an entire chapter with lots of policies associated, I just wanted to go through the process of having it be its own separate motion and vote, just for transparency's sake.
Yeah.
However people might view that, so.
It's just general lingo. It's nothing that holds this, makes the school become a charter school. It's just something we have to have. So Any discussion? Let's vote.
Kate Trudeau.
Yes.
Steve Huffner.
Yes.
Emma Merrick.
Yes.
Dave Rudow.
Yes.
Dave Glaze.
Yes. Order approval for Chromebook devices at an anticipated price, including shipping and licensing not to exceed, exceed $50,000.
I move to approve order approval for Chromebook devices at an anticipated price, including shipping and licensing not to exceed 50,000.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Just as part of our usual computer refresh cycle, Mr. Fastenal just wanted to get ahead of the game for approval, as he's looking at, pricing and, a variety of, sales and things that may come up, as the year ends or as the new year starts. So we just wanted to get that on the books, so that we can move forward when we need to do that.
Oh, go ahead.
I appreciate the background kind of memo on here and how you split out where the funds are coming from. So if I'm, that student technology refresh is that 20,000 is coming from that capital, right? Our capital
Yes.
budget. And then the reserve fund is just unbudgeted, but it's coming from our cash, right? Is that correct?
So, yes, that technology fee fund, so, students, in the past, students have paid, insurance for their devices, and so that's the fund that I'm referencing, so that cash is on hand, it's just sitting in that.
Yeah, perfect.
fund.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That helps a lot. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hank? I keep forgetting about you.
Nope, all good.
All right. Let's vote.
Kate Trudeau.
Yes.
Steve Huffner.
Yes.
Emma Merrick.
Yes.
Dave Rudow.
Yep.
Dave Glaze.
Yes. All right, motion passes. So contracts, none, personnel, none, miscellaneous, none, we're rolling. Pending agenda.
I think we were still gonna talk about the district goals, right? Because at the last work session, we only focused it on board improvement, but it wasn't noticed so that we could talk about the board.
So you want that on pending agenda?
Yeah. I think though it would be best to have that discussion when we're all together. So Hank doesn't have to call in at midnight,
Yeah.
so we can just be on there
Sure.
for when we're all together, but yeah.
And so you're writing that down, right? Any other pending agenda? All righty, audience comments. Whew. Crickets. Board comments. Kate.
Thanks again for the opportunity to go to AASB, and I'm looking forward to the superintendent search. I'm really excited, and I hope that everyone who's watching or listening gets online and fills out their form, because I want a superintendent that you want.
Excellent. Pete.
Just appreciate all the work that's going on, appreciate Seth's work on the travel, finding teams. Appreciated the reports from CEA and CEG, I was close. Excellent. And the principals report, just appreciate the work that's going into the district. And Alex is developing policy, it's pretty cool.
Hank, you got anything?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, dude. Enjoy Mexico.
Oh, boy.
It was pretty cool at AASB being able to see Randy Trainee get superintendent of the year, and he said, I'm just a kid from Cordova, and I think that's awesome to have one of our own recognized at that level, and such a big district to be able to operate and move. So that was great. Also, fellow Cordovan, former Cordovan Adam Lau was there as well, talking about his teaching through technology program. So that was also really cool to have kind of like two two Cordovans there really representing us well, and I'm sure that won't be, if we're doing our jobs well, that won't be the last time either, so, I just wanted to mention that.
Went to high school, Tim. I guess I'm the last one. Thanks for all your reports and your hard work. And that's all I'm gonna say. So one more motion.
Second.
Oh, I have to do a roll
Yeah.
call vote?
You have that?
Yep.
Emma Merritt,
Yes.
Dave Gleason. Hank Cordova.
Yeah.
Under.
Dave Gleason, yeah.
Right.
Bye, Hank.
I'm looking at you and.
At me?
Yeah.
I forgot we had to do a vote on that.
Like, we're gonna go on time.
Can't be the only person that wants to be in bed by 9.